Hello, I'm Dorothy Henning, Feldenkrais Practitioner, and I teach Feldenkrais Awareness Through Movement. You might be thinking, Feldenkrais, what's that? And how do I even say it? Feldenkrais, pronounced like the word paradise. Feldenkrais, paradise. Feldenkrais is a method developed by a doctor who researched how thinking, sensing, and movement work together to help us move better, feel better, and think better. In a Feldenkrais Awareness Through Movement lesson, you are verbally guided through a series of gentle movements. Each lesson has a different theme of a functional movement. Often you are lying down for a lesson, and we will do a lesson in lying today, so have a mat on the floor, such as this one, or lying on a bed is fine, if you can't get on the floor at this time. Have a folded towel, such as I have here, to go under your head for a support. Sometimes, there we go, we may do the lesson in sitting or standing. We often move slowly during a lesson because when you do forceful, fast movements, this is perceived as noise in the brain. It's like as if you were in a crowded room with many people talking. It would be hard to hear one person you are speaking with. Too much noise. We do gentle and easy movements to quiet the brain because this is how we can sense what is happening as we move. When you savor what you are sensing and feeling as you move, this encourages neuroplasticity, the ability for the brain to change. You won't have to think about all this during a lesson. I will guide your attention to make this easy to do. Just follow along. You can think of it as a kind of laboratory where we explore by moving slowly and sensing so that when you want to do activities you need to do during the day, such as walking or reaching, they will be easier and more comfortable. Let's do a short lesson now. If you need to pause the video a moment in order to get some equipment, your mat and a chair, you may need a chair and a folded towel in order to have as a head support, go ahead and then we'll get started. So now here we are with a chair here. You don't have to hold on to the chair, but in case you need it, it's there. Because I want you to start by just feeling yourself in standing. So in standing, notice how your feet make contact with the floor. You may feel the front of your feet, the back of your feet. How spread are they? Where is the more weight? And if you need help with standing, if you either use a walker or anything, or a cane, or you need a chair, go ahead. Or you could also just see how you feel in sitting. And then also now, if you're comfortable, and you could also do this in sitting, can you turn around you as if you wanted to see something, but keep your feet placed where they are? Notice which side did you turn to first. Can you notice if there's something on the wall that you can look at? Don't strain, don't go as far as you can, but where you can turn to easily, perhaps you see a piece of furniture or something and you know, oh, I went to there. And then try the other side. Oh, is one side easier than the other? That's often true for us. We have one side that's easier than the other. And don't worry, nobody's symmetrical, and we can just always learn how to feel better and move better. So you notice to this side, where do you see? And you come back, and we'll come back to this at the end and see how that is then. So now, 3 magic words you often like to hear. Please lie down. And this can, as I said, be even in a bed. I'll move the chair out of the way. And here's a towel. So you lie down here on the mat. And you're going to lie first on your back. And I'll have you go ahead and do that. And I'll speak to you a moment. So just imagine you're lying on your back like this. The towel folded under your head. And just enjoy that moment of lying on your back. And while you're on your back, can you notice how your contact is behind you? You may notice how you may contact at your shoulders. Just thinking, how does the floor come up and support you? How do you allow it to support you? You may feel a difference between the right shoulder and the left shoulder. Notice that now. Or behind your hips on the right hip and the left hip. We all have differences like this, and it's really important to notice and observe because we're doing this mindfully, meaning we are in the current moment, sensing and feeling, and doing this without judgment and with kindness. So you notice how you are now, and we'll notice how your contact is at the end. Now, if you could please roll onto your left side. So get comfortable on your left side, and you bend your knees so that they're bent kind of like you're sitting in a chair, only you're on your side. And you then place one hand out in front of you and the other on top. You may need to squiggle a little bit to get comfortable, and that's fine. It's like beans settling in a jar. We move them around a little and we get more beans in the jar. Two palms are together, and with the top hand, your right hand, can you just slowly lift it up? And don't worry about how far you go. It's not important, the quantity of the movement, just the quality, taking your time and noticing. And now can your eyes follow your hand as your arm lifts? And just go to where you go to easily. It might be 2 inches. And you're breathing and you go slow and you feel how you're rolling over your shoulder. And I have my glasses on so that I can see, but I do recommend that you take them off when you're doing the lesson so you can lie with your head to the side. And now we'll try something a little different. It might be a little out of habit. So you might move back the cushion we're lying on, and as you lift the arm, could you roll the head the opposite way? And the eyes looking that way, and then they come back together. And this is a little out of habit. And that's wonderful because that helps our brain pay attention. Just go real slow in your breathing. Don't worry about how far. Don't worry if you get mixed up. This is a little different to move your head differently than your arm. And there's a lot of learning that happens, even when we feel like we're a little confused. The important thing is you just enjoy the movement, and the changes will come not through the movement itself, but through how you tend to yourself. You tend to yourself and take care of yourself. Rest there a moment. And now let's go back to lifting the arm where the eyes and the head are going along. It's like your eyes might look at your hand. And you might be surprised you go a little further. How did that happen? We're really helping reorganize and having new options in our brain and our movement. Now we're to try something a little bit different where as you lift your hand and your nose follows, your eyes actually look to the left toward the floor as the hand goes up to the right. Now this could be very funny. Your eyes might be darting around like mine saying, now where do I go? What are we doing? That's fine. That's when the learning is taking place. It's okay that you get a little mixed up. So the nose is following the hand, because you know where the nose goes, the head goes. But the eyes, see, it takes to look to the left, and then everybody comes back together. Back to where they're resting when you're still breathing, and you're back, and then you land the plane. Really land the plane. Let all the people off before we do the next movement. So now we've done all that. Let's go back to the first movement and see how it's going now, lifting the arm, the eyes and the head, and the arm together. Do you go any further? Or maybe it's just easier or the quality's different. That's how we're improving the movement. Leave that now and roll onto your back. And let's feel if there's any difference on your back, as if there was a ink all along your back and it just printed on the floor. Would you be spreading out and having more ink on the floor and out? Like as if you were a stamp pad, you know? Is there any difference? Maybe how the shoulders are lying. Or does one leg feel longer than the other? That's the changes that happen in neuroplasticity as we perceive ourselves differently. And as that perception changes, we move better. So now we'll go ahead and do the other side. I'll turn around this way. First, we notice differences because comparing is so good. It's how we learn. And I will turn around so I can still be facing you. And you're on the right side. And we may not do the same movements or as many. You can even fold the towel again to have it support the head a little better. 2 hands out in front of you. Your knees bent, kind of like you're in a chair, but you're lying down. Just get comfortable. Here's the top hand. Let's begin by following the hand with our eyes as it slowly lifts. Don't worry about how far you go. You might go a little further than I'm doing now, but you don't have to do it just like me. You do it how it feels right to you, comfortable, easy. And now, let's do the movement where your nose follows your hand, but your eyes look to the right. And you might feel like, ooh, I'm getting kind of mixed up. And then the eyes and the hand and everything comes back. You just have to be willing to play with it. You don't have to get it. It's not doing the movement that will make the difference. And again, and the eyes looking to the right, the nose going along with the hand, and you come back. It's like, oh, very nice. Like opening like a book, the way the arm is opening, the two arms together. And now let's go back to just lifting the top hand, eyes and nose, your head following the hand. Feel how you roll over the right shoulder, your ribs. There's a little, you might feel this knee slide back a little. You may not go to the ceiling. You go to wherever you can. For some, they may go further. But this is not required. You do the movement that feels right to you today. And now next time you go up with the hand, we'll try a different movement on this side. You go up to where you can. It might be here or to the ceiling, but it doesn't matter. And then you just bend the elbow and you lay your palm on your forehead, just like you would lay your palm on a sweet little 3-week-old baby's forehead, letting your hand be very gentle with your head. You just roll it gently. Remember, it's your own head, so you want to be very gentle. Just roll it left and right, feeling how the pressure changes on your head as it shifts the weight rolling. Just enjoy that rolling. Feel how it makes your chest open and your elbows moving in an arc in space. And then you come back, reach the two palms together, rest a moment. Pauses are important. Always pepper in pauses. That's when all the good stuff takes place. That's when your brain is absorbing what it's learning. So you always want to include a pause, recuperate, and you watch your hand and lift it up. Let your head go with your hand. Let's go back to this movement we did. Is it any better as you go? Just going along. Does it go any further? Or maybe it doesn't go further, but the quality is nicer. You feel the rolling of your shoulder, your head. And leave that and rest and roll onto your back. You may want less under your head on your back. There we go. And let's take a moment to savor any differences. Perhaps you feel your shoulders lying back more, or you feel more comfortable. Maybe you feel your thighs touching where they weren't before. And then, taking your time, you're going to roll to the side and come to sitting and standing. If it helps to use a chair, you can bring a chair over or another piece of furniture that can help. And you come to standing in a way that's safe. Don't stand on the mat. Here we are. And let's feel ourselves in standing. Do you feel any more upright? I'm going to grab my glasses. I can see better with them. And feel your feet on the ground. Do you feel any more grounded? Contact? Do you feel any more upright? Do you remember what we did at the beginning? We turned around ourselves. Ooh, is that any easier? Do you go any further, any more easily than you did at the beginning? Perhaps to the side that wasn't as easy. Or perhaps you just feel more of your spine involved as it turns as you go around. How upright do you feel? Maybe your shoulders are back and down without pushing them. We don't want to do anything with force. We're finding it through yourself in the movement on a really deep level, a somatic level. That's the level that our body learns on. So I hope this was interesting for you today. Thank you. And remember that it's awareness through movement, that it's not the movement that's important. It's how you tend to yourself that brings the improvement. Thank you. Hope to see you soon in a class.